All right, National Report Court back in session as you take a live look in Dallas, Texas for today's case. Courtesy of EarthCam, we take a live look this morning where the Attorney General in that state, Ken Paxton, is suing PornHub's parent company. This over allegation that it's violating state law by failing to implement age verification measures to ensure children cannot access the adults-only site.
Paxton wants PornHub and other adult websites to roll out an age verification system that would allow access only to those who are able to prove they have a government-issued ID and that they are over the age of 18. So we're taking up the case now in National Report Court with Amanda Mackey. She is an attorney, and Eric Schwartz, a criminal defense attorney. Now, for the purposes of today's segment, Amanda, you will represent Attorney General Paxton. Eric will be defending PornHub and its parent company, ILO.
All right, so let's dive in if we can, and thanks for being here. We have the press release announcing the lawsuit, and it reads as this, quote, ILO Global runs several of the largest pornography websites that host obscene materials, including PornHub. Instead of abiding by Texas law requiring purveyors of obscene sexual material to institute age verification systems, the company immediately presents minors who access their websites with pornographic content. And that from the press release. Amanda, can you walk us through the case here brought on by the Texas Attorney General?
Absolutely. Look, we are a country of laws, and Texas absolutely has the ability to implement laws that it believes will protect the citizens of the state. And the Attorney General is doing what is in the best interest of the state and of the children of the state by protecting them from online potentially predators and others with these pornographic websites. So the law in the state of Texas and in other states throughout America is that you have to demonstrate that you are of the age of majority, 18 years old. And ILO has demonstrated that they are not in fact doing that. And the law only requires reasonable measures to demonstrate age. And so they haven't taken that at all into doing or implementing. And so, of course, the state attorney general is doing what is in the best interest of the state and is suing them potentially $10,000 a day for the violations. And ILO has to demonstrate how they are abiding by the law, which they are not.
All right, Eric, ILO, they ended up not commenting on this suit. Are these claims a violation of free speech rights? Can you walk us through what the defense would be for these websites?
So good morning. First of all, Sean, Christina, you're going to make me have to sleep on the couch again for having to take the sidebar porn on national TV.
Sorry about that.
This morning, I had to represent a guy who was arrested for acting in an Elmo suit and got a breach of the peace, but I will accept your challenge this morning. So let's start with this. Best interest of the children, of course. We don't want children watching porn. Not a good thing. But pornography is protected under the First Amendment. How do you get rid of, if you're not feeling well, from an ulcer? Well, you punch yourself in the head and you give yourself a headache. Because one headache or one issue, if you have a problem or an ailment, is going to give you another ailment. So if we put these restrictions on there, which there should be restrictions, but the restrictions where we should collect data from people that want to exercise their First Amendment, and adults go to these porn sites and we're collecting and saving and storing their information in federal identification, that is dangerous. It's dangerous that people get a hold of that. It's dangerous that the government knows who's watching porn and has a list. So we have to be smart about this. So ILO wants to adhere to the requirements, and they are doing so. In Arkansas and Utah were the only way those states have passed a law where it's required that you use the ID. They have blocked access in those states where users from those states cannot even access the porn sites. But here we have to look at the strict scrutiny test. Is this law overbroad? Is the act itself vague? And a lot of that is. And lawyers, a lot of people don't like lawyers. We get paid lots of money arguing over that term reasonable. What are reasonable restrictions? So certainly no porn for children, but it has to be in a way where we are not creating another problem. I mean, pornography and obscene in the legal term means different things to different people, but legally it is protected under the First Amendment.
We can get into the specifics of the age verification or lack thereof on the site as argued by the AG. The lawsuit also states, quote, Amanda, even when the defendant's website require an quote, enter button to be pressed. That button is often displayed with a sample of the sexual material published or distributed on the website. The age verification methods used by defendants on their website cannot said to verify anything at all and wholly fail to comply with the requirements of Chapter 129B. Amanda, this point about the enter button, how heavy does that play in this suit?
Well, it's not sufficient, and that's the point, is that, yes, there are First Amendment rights. Of course, we're all aware of that. However, the Supreme Court has placed restrictions like time, place, and manner, and other restrictions to demonstrate that you can't just have full-blown access to saying and doing whatever you want. You can't scream fire in a movie theater, for example. So there are many examples the Supreme Court has laid out that doesn't allow for that. So we do have restrictions, some restrictions on First Amendment rights, and the courts have sided with the state of Texas and with other states. And so merely pressing a button is not sufficient. You have to demonstrate that this person is 18, is age of majority, and therefore can access the website. We're not saying don't access pornography. We're just saying we need to protect our children and make sure that they're not getting on there.
Eric, if you had a crystal ball, where do you see this case going? Do you think that Texas will just, or that PornHub will end up just blocking access to their website for people in Texas?
I mean, I think that could happen depending on what happens with the lawsuit. Remember, there's already been a ruling from a federal court declaring this law unconstitutional, and now there's been an injunction by another court staying that. So where this goes, I don't know, but here's the problem here. Let's be very clear. Children and pornography, they do not go together. That should not happen. When you drive in Texas on highways, or here in Florida where I am, we have billboards for adult sites, for adult places. Pornography exists, and there's always going to be pornography. It's protected. Children shouldn't be there. We need to have device requirements. The government should not be able to get a list where someone should be able to steal this. Who's watching porn? Who's looking at it? People that view porn, they don't really want people knowing that they view porn, and you can't out them, and you'll have people's identities stolen. So let's not create a headache to get rid of an ulcer.
Very interesting points there. Amanda, Mackey, Eric Schwartz. If you could stand by, we have Tom Borelli, he's a Newsmax contributor, joining us to play judge and jury for this edition of National Report Court. Tom, you've been listening to both sides of the argument. Where do you fall today?
Well, I certainly hear the free speech argument by Eric, and I also hear the points by Amanda about protecting children. And at the end of the day, I'm going to go with Amanda, and I think PornHub and their owner should be smart about this. I understand Eric's point that nobody wants their name to be associated with pornography, but, oh, by the way, the internet, everybody could find out anything anyway. So just putting your driver's license out there doesn't mean that no one's going to find out. But these companies should be smart, because if they don't take restrictions, they're going to get sued, just like cigarette companies got sued, just like alcohol companies get sued. So I think it's in the company's actual best interest to be proactive, because in a court of public opinion, they're going to lose. So they should take reasonable restrictions really on their own.
Which Eric probably already knew, but brave enough to take on that side of the case.
I'm taking the fifth. I don't watch it. I do have my gavel. I understand that I lost it. I'm now sleeping on the couch.
There you go. Look, we appreciate all of you here. Yeah, Amanda Mackey, Eric Schwartz, and Tom Borelli, all three of you. Thank you so much for weighing in. We appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.